In the land of Israel, a great battle loomed between the Israelites and the Philistines. The Philistine army brought forth a champion named Goliath, a towering giant over 9 feet tall, clad in heavy armor and armed with a massive spear. Day after day, for 40 days, Goliath mocked the Israelites, challenging them to send one man to fight him in single combat. The soldiers of Israel, including King Saul, were paralyzed with fear. They saw only the size and power of Goliath, and their hearts failed them. Far away from the battlefield, in the quiet hills of Bethlehem, a young shepherd boy named David tended his father's sheep. David was the youngest of 8 brothers, and by the standards of the world, he was not considered significant. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, David's father, Jesse, didn't even call him to the gathering. Instead, he paraded David's older, stronger brothers before Samuel. But God spoke to Samuel, saying, "Do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." And so, David was chosen, the least likely in the eyes of men but precious and prepared in the eyes of God. David's preparation had not come through military training or royal upbringing, but through years of quiet faithfulness. As a shepherd, he'd faced dangers that tested his courage and trust in God. When a lion or bear came to attack his flock, David did not run. Empowered by God, he fought off these predators with his bare hands or his sling. These experiences taught David not only to rely on his skills, but to trust in the power of the Lord who delivered him. One day, David's father sent him to the battlefield to deliver food to his brothers and check on their welfare. When David arrived, he saw the fear in the camp and heard Goliath's taunts. Unlike the soldiers, David was not intimidated by the giant's size or his threats. He was filled with righteous anger, not because Goliath was a threat to Israel, but because he defied the living God. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine?" David asked, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Word of David's boldness reached King Saul, and David was brought before him. When David volunteered to fight Goliath, Saul was skeptical. "You are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him," Saul said, "for you are but a youth, and he has been a man of war from his youth." But David recounted his experiences in the wilderness, how God had delivered him from the paw of the lion and the bear. "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine," David declared. Saul reluctantly agreed and offered David his armor, but it was too heavy and cumbersome. David chose instead to rely on what he knew: his sling, 5 smooth stones from a brook, and his unwavering faith in God. As David approached the battlefield, Goliath mocked him, laughing at the sight of a mere boy coming to fight him with a stick. But David's confidence did not waver. "You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin," David said, "but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saves not with sword and spear. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand." With that, David ran toward Goliath, not away. He reached into his bag, took out a stone, and slung it with precision. The stone struck Goliath on the forehead, sinking deep, and the giant fell face down to the ground. David then took Goliath's own sword and killed him, securing victory for Israel. The Philistine army fled in terror, and David's act of faith brought him national prominence. David's victory over Goliath was not merely about physical strength or strategy. It was about the power of God working through a humble servant who trusted him completely. David's faith was rooted in his personal relationship with God, cultivated in the quiet moments of his life as a shepherd. While others saw an undefeatable giant, David saw an opportunity to glorify God. Where others saw a problem too big to handle, David saw a target too big to miss. This story reminds us that courage overcomes fear when it is grounded in faith. When we face the giants in our lives, be they problems, obstacles, or setbacks, we must remember that our God is bigger than any situation. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness, and he often works through the humble and overlooked to achieve great victories. Like David, when we trust in God, we can run toward our challenges with confidence, knowing that the battle belongs to the Lord. Our greatest obstacles can lead to our greatest breakthroughs when we act in obedience to God's calling, relying not on our strength, but on his. David's story is a testament to the power of faith, the importance of a personal relationship with God, and the truth that, with God, what we have is always enough. Whether it's a sling and a stone or the quiet courage to stand alone, God can use the little we have to accomplish great things for His glory. The story of David and Goliath teaches us that true strength comes from faith and trust in God, not from physical might or worldly power. David's victory was not about his own abilities, but about his unwavering confidence in the God who empowers the humble and faithful. When we face our own giants in life, whether they are problems, challenges, or fears, we can take heart knowing that God is bigger than any obstacle we face. I hope this message encourages you as you continue studying and learning the kingdom of God and His righteousness. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and share.